But the counter to Necrophos was still there. Pugna is there. I think that's a really good way of punishing the Necrophos. You still have to worry about the Orb. That's still going to be a factor.
Right.
But we saw the Pugna do a lot of work last time as well in the last series. So there is some potency here. There's a timing issue. I think you have to, in any case, take care of the Oracle first, no matter what. And if you can get that done, Pugna can clean up the rest, can punish the Necro, and can push pretty nicely. So you've got a good pace here from Cignal.
Oh, GeekFam, though, they go into that Weaver. And as it stands right now, there's not much control in the way of Cignal Ultra's draft for that Weaver. Looks like it should be a Core Weaver as well, unless they plan to do something weird like an offlane Earthshaker. But that's kind of doubtful. It looks like it probably will be a safe lane Weaver coming out for GeekFam. And well, this hero's slowly been making its way back into the meta for some reason, and it is very slippery. It's very hard to catch. It can fight early. It's annoying overall, and Cignal Ultra, they may feel like they don't need to work towards a counter. Like, you do have the chains there from the Ember, I guess, to make it to catch him out, but it seems like a decent pick for GeekFam, is all I'm saying. Yeah.
It's got a lot of room to go around here. I think you can tear through the backline. Keeper of the Light and Pugna aren't particularly tanky, so the Weaver can take care of that for you. The one thing is Tusk can be annoying. Shards in the right moment can really disrupt that Weaver from running away. So there's some options for control there from Cignal that they can get done. I would like to see something to build off for the Weaver. I don't think they have any room for the minus armor strats we've been seeing, so no room for the Venge, no room for a Slardar, but there are other ways to amp up the Weaver, at least give the Weaver a bit more space in that sense, and we'll see what GeekFam does pick in the end. It looks like we are lacking mids here.
And GeekFam. We do see the Void Spirit the Faceless Void being banned out by Cignal Ultra. GeekFam. One more ban for themselves before we get to see how they finish off these drafts.
5 seconds remaining.
They still have so much reserve time for this, after this, that 2 minutes, right? You've got so much time to make this final ban out and the final pick for GeekFam. They do go ahead and ban out the PA, surprisingly enough. I didn't think that was really going to be the case here. When you have a Pugna in your team, the PA can be a little bit, it can be a bit rough.
Yeah.
And going into a Necrophos as well, like he's got that natural Ghost Shroud. So I wasn't expecting the PK from Cignal Ultra anyway, but it could have worked. You never know.
10 seconds remaining.
I think it's one of those comfort picks for
5 seconds
Abbott. I think that's something he plays a lot of. Again, there has been a bit of tendency, right? We see the same thing with a droid, where they do tend to pick up a PA every now and again. So I don't think it. I think it's just down to the fact that GeekFam knows Cignal knows how to play around it, and they close out their draft with the Batrider.
Right.
So their draft right now from GeekFam comes online really fast. There's not much farm needed here. Maybe a blink in the shaker, maybe initial items on your Weaver, but beyond that, you're going to be ready to fight very early on. You could say the same about Cignal. No matter what they pick last, these 4 heroes will be able to pump up that aggression as well. So expect a bit of a fast game coming out from both sides.
I do expect one to happen here. The fast kind of game. Cignal Ultra, they need to make a fast pick with this final pick, and they'll go into the Queen of Pain. So that does indicate a safe lane Ember Spirit for Cignal Ultra, and they'll throw the mid Quap. I can't really blame them for that, because there is the opportunity now to have a mid Batrider if you so wish, and well, we saw what happened in a previous series when you have mid Batrider up against a melee core. It just tends to not work out very well. See where GeekFam plan to throw that Batrider. Whether they want it in the off lane, whether they want to run it mid. We know that Raven will be in the safe lane, and Cuckoo will take the off lane Necrophos. So they are going to run that mid Batrider regardless of whether it's a Quap or whether it's going to be the Ember. Of course, it's probably going to be the Quap. You're not going to run Ember versus Batrider. That's just disgusting. No.
Yeah, It's a pretty solid draft from Cignal, I have to say. The control from GeekFam to catch them out is really basically on the shaker. I guess Oracle Root is nice, and Necropho's Sight is there, and the Lasso. But beyond that, in terms of AoE teamfight consistent control, you've got the Keeper of the Light there, you've got the Tusk to split that fight up, and you've got a lot of AoE damage coming out. So if they do force early big engagements, it could end up favoring Cignal, but GeekFam has a lot of tools to find those pickoffs. So they'd probably want to go hunting a bit and try to catch out some of these heroes before anything can happen. Have to say though, the mid lane matchup, Queen of Pain against Bat Act. Well, yeah, the Queen of Pain against a Bat is all right for the Bat. It's not the best lane. You're not going to be as dominant as you see it if it is going to be in that case, and I think there's a lot of leeway there for Cignal to get that lane up and running pretty well.
Yeah. It's one of those things, right? Like with the Batrider, you definitely want to dominate the lane as best as you possibly can, but it's not like you can't just see Carl rotating through the jungle, clearing out a bunch of camps, just escalating out of control in that Batrider, and ultimately being a real nuisance throughout the mid game. Could just see that happen as well. Is GeekFam. We'll lose the Oracle there. That'll be it. Zephyr's gone as well somewhere. I'm not sure where he's gone to. And we'll start this first game between Cignal Ultra and GeekFam.
Prepare battle.
And this will be the first showing of Cignal Ultra in a while for us. So I look forward to seeing where they're headed with this kind of team. Like how good they're looking right now.
Yeah, it's been a while, and should be interesting to see. I love that Jamesy does start out straight up with a magic wand, so he's ready to face up against Carl. Of course, Carl will want to spam as much sticky napalm as possible, so you've already got a bit more burst sustain there coming out from Cignal.
Kind of shocked that you go all the way for the wand. Like, would you not just start off with a stick and like? I guess the stats are quite nice for the Queen of Pain, but
30 seconds to
oh, well, maybe just felt
Stats are
like
nice.
yeah. I guess you just felt like you didn't need anything else.
Yeah, the max charges are pretty good as well, so you can build up to 20 straight up. And against a Batrider, fairly easy to hit that point, so can't really blame the Queen of Pain. Can't blame Jamesy for just wanting that really nice early heal coming up here for the lane.
Top lane could be a bit of a scuffle here over this bounty rune. Fortune's End going to be thrown out onto Raven, just in case they want to try and pursue that bounty. It'll be a 3-for-1 trade, it seems. GeekFam, they will secure the third down at that bot lane where Cuckoo will pick it up. So a nice little gold boost going into this first game for the side of GeekFam. We'll see Eris actually making the rotation down to the bot lane as the Tusk, which is a little bit intriguing, right? Because as a Tusk, usually you'll see most teams, they'll try to run a bit of a tri-lane to start and find an early first blood with tag team. But they won't do that with Cignal Ultra. They'll just bring him straight down to the bot lane to make sure he's supporting Van on that Pugna.
Yeah, I think they understand that Pugna left alone doesn't really hold its own quite well. So they're going to need Eris around to give it some space. Level
Jamesy.
1 to trees when it's vulnerable.
Luckily for Jamesy John, he kept a skill point for himself. Actually forced TP out. Carl running straight back towards him. He still wants to go for this. He has Firefly time here. He will not have enough, but he can just keep auto-attacking. Carl needs one more, but a Fairy Fire comes out from Jamesy. But he does force out the level 1 Blink, and now, of course, the Shadow Strike will also be there. But Carl, what kind of aggression is this?
Oh yeah, that's not something you see all too often. And Jamesy isn't quite fully punished. Like he's actually going to be fine in this lane. Has 12 charges on the wand. And just waiting for Carl to actually just completely drain the mana to get more value from that burst heal.
Well, that is the beauty of this, right? Like, Jamesy did have the wand the whole time. So he wouldn't have actually died. In fact, if he kept just kiting the bat around, he probably would have gotten the kill. Still, just surviving that first onslaught of the Batrider is going to feel pretty good for Jamesy. It's like we do have a bit of an interesting situation down at the bot lane. Van, he has his creep wave behind his tier 1 tower. Eris is, I'm not sure if he's pulled the dire creep wave back behind there, but somehow ended up in that position. Well, GeekFam in a bit of a interesting situation where they can't really farm much without a creep wave in front of them. So Van gonna find some pretty nice XP and farm himself in this Pugna. He's gonna sit on the top of the CS board for now as well in that Pugna, 15 and 5.
Yeah, you're not seeing as much presence from GeekFam in that bot lane as you'd expect. I don't think there's all too much they can really do, and this is playing into Cignal's early game, so they're going to be online fairly quickly, which can help them. Their lineup does want to be up and running fairly quick.
Kind of makes you wonder though what they are going to do about this Pugna. It's not like the Necrophos can really shut him down. Maybe as the levels go up it becomes a little bit harder for Van, but ultimately I still believe he has the advantage throughout the whole laning stage. In fact, now Eris just being a real nuisance here up against Zephyr.
It's just a bit tricky. I think right now GeekFam is probably more focused on just trying to give Raven a good time. And if you look at up top, the last hits of Raven aren't that close to Van at all. It's just such a free lane bot. They need to get some of that farm onto Raven as well, and it's not quite happening.
It is a bit of a struggle for the Weaver for now. Bat's having a decent time as well in that off-lane Ember. 13 and 3. Not really struggling too much and not really taking too much harassment either. Of course, he does have the Keeper of the Light with him, Grims, just rotating right now to try and help secure a Power Rune for his Queen of Pain, but Whiteman's being very, very annoying here on that Oracle, and, well, eventually the deny comes out, and now Eris with a great shards out, but a Fissure in the mid lane. It won't matter. Eris does get the first blood, and now Whiteman, he'll get jumped as well. Cignal Ultra. What an aggressive play in that mid lane, and well, that's 2 kills going to the way of this Radiant side.
It's that fast game we were looking for, and you take a look up top, Abba got brought down low as well, not quite enough, but you are starting to see each side really commit towards finding these early kills, and I think that's much more pertinent for Cignal. Their lineup most definitely does have a lot more of an early power spike. They are making use of that quite well.
That they are. And I gotta say, I really do enjoy all these rotations coming in early. Jamesy is still having a pretty tough time up against Carl's Batrider. It's even though he has the blink up, he can't even get close to the creep wave because he's just copying too many sticky napalm stacks. And now he'll get close, but the more you stand there, the more you're gonna cop. Even the flame break now from Carl really gets some advantage out of the sticky napalm, as he can't really close the gap with the Firefly quite yet. But at least you have the flame break there to get some damage out.
Yeah, but it is still a really slow lane for James. Yeah, it's like it's something Carl has maximized well, as mentioned. Oh.
Yeah, Cuckoo, he kind of waited for the last second with that Ghost Shroud. Not really respecting the damage of that Nether Blast, and the Ghost Shroud does amplify that damage just like Decrepify would.
Yeah, it's again, it's the easy counter to Necrophos. It's the Pugna. So it's not going to be a good time for that Necro down here. I think you kind of have to accept that. But Cuckoo is just not going to have a great game. That's it.
It's as simple as that. And we are going to have a pause coming out here. Looks like Whiteman is the one to disconnect. I love the confidence here from Cignal Ultra, though, I've got to say. They're currently 3-0. They're constantly all chatting. You know, really giving it to the side of GeekFam. And I mean, again, this is a team you don't get to see very often. So it's just kind of interesting to see Cignal Ultra just come out of nowhere and, well, at least for now, take the lead in this game.
Yeah, their aggression is paying off quite well. They have managed to force GeekFam to rotate a bit earlier and not really win out in their lanes. Like, the farm on Raven is most certainly not up to par compared to the Pugna. It's not too far behind, but we're talking about 500 gold at 6 minutes in. That's a pretty good amount. And There has to be some space given to Raven. They have to be careful about him getting jumped. I think as soon as you hit level 5 or 6 on Abat, he can come in and really just apply to hurt. He's been going for the Searing Chain Sleight of Fist build, which, as we know with Chakra, just makes it so hard to fight against that, especially once you hit level 3 Sleight of Fist with a cooldown reduction. It's just kind of wild how much damage comes out from an Ember.
I see nothing wrong with it, John. I think it's completely balanced with this combination. Don't know what you're talking about. It is really disgusting though. Like, it's, you know, just being able to spam Sleight of Fist twice in a row like that. Especially if the Ember becomes out of control. Like, if a bat does find some amazing farm on this Ember, whew, it gets tough.
Yeah, it really does. And I think GeekFam, they've got to give Raven space. We've seen them in this situation before, where they give Raven a hero that doesn't quite come in line too fast. It needs some initial farm. They need to pick up the pace with Carl down mid, so they're going to need to play around a bat, and he is rushing the BOTs into Blink. So once at least the BOTs are up, he's going to be able to have a little bit more presence on that map.
Fisher out from Zephyr to Jamesy, but you can still blink away. His turn rate is not that slow on that Quap. Like, it's still obviously a lot slower with the sticky napalm, but he has time unless you can get the lasso off.
Yeah, I think they needed maybe 1 or 2 more stacks of napalm just to really slow that turn. And Zephyr might have been a bit too early in that fissure, so if they just let Carl spam out one more time, might have not had enough time to blink and turn before the lasso was up.
Oh, Arbat. Getting very aggressive there onto Whiteman. Raven. Going onto the Ember. That could be dangerous, but he doesn't really realize that the chase was on and misses the chains. And he got on those chains off earlier on. I suppose Raven can always time-lapse, but you wouldn't mind just forcing that ultimate out.
Yeah, it's a fairly annoyingly long cooldown at level 1, so does leave Raven vulnerable when he does expend it, but you hit 6 on Abed, so you've got the nuke damage anyway from the Ember, and if they wanted to commit along with that Keeper to help you spam out, it's going to be pretty straightforward to kill off this pesky Weaver.
You look at this as well, bot lane. This is where that point where the Pugner gets really annoying now. He'll just push in that bot tier 1 tower consistently with that Nether Blast. And they are going to try and apply some pressure up top lane as Raven, he does really harass out a bat quite nicely on the Ember. The only problem being is he can get a free reset by TPing and remnanting back. It's exactly what he does.
Yeah,
And,
it's Ember Spiritings.
Yeah.
It maintains that lane. You see Raven having to TP out as well because he dropped a bit low. Does use the time lapse just to come back in, so he wants to play a little bit of like an Ember Spirit as well.
Jamesy, again, getting fished up. This time they do connect with the lasso. Zephyr was very patient in that mid lane. He waited a very long time to have that opportunity, and it does finally pay off.
And that's what they need to do. They can't really rush it. Queen of Pain is a bit too slippery, and you just have to rely on getting that slow turn to punish the blink, and Raven does find a nice support pick off as well. So he's starting to find some damage.
It's really easy for the Weaver. Just be able to sneak behind a support like a Keeper of the Light and just take him out. And even if he does use the Blinding Light, you can just time-lapse and essentially just purge it off. As now Carl rotates down to the bot lane of the Bat Rider, but they're not quite able to close the gap onto Van. And Van seemingly getting a bit lucky as well, finding a Faded Brooch, and that added movement speed already paying off.
Yeah, I mean, he moves at 400. That's just... I don't think they have anything from GeekFam to hold him down, unless Carl gets the BOTs up and kind of has Firefly up running. That's probably the best bet.
Coming in, trying to go after Cuckoo and Zephyr. There's going to be a TP away, though Zephyr does have that cancelled. Now a nice chance into a great Sonic Wave, but the Sonic Wave pushed him past the chance. It won't matter anyway, a bat. He comes in and cleans it up, gets a double kill on the Ember. Did they get their outpost back in time? No. They lost their outpost, nobody went back to get it. So on the brighter side, GeekFam do deny that XP away, but you did just give 2 decent kills over to the Ember anyway. So I guess you'd call that an even trade, if not better for Cignal.
Oh, it is definitely a lot better for Cignal. They're just finding these early kills. Their aggression is paying off, and I bet it's at the point where he can just show up in lanes, find kills, shove it out. They've already taken that bot tier 1 as well, because obviously they've got the Pugna. So you can start shifting your attention towards mid, take out that mid tier 1, and suddenly the map is a lot more open for Cignal.
Bot lane, Chains was there onto Carl. Snowball to follow up, but now they'll see Zephyr there. And of course, Carl will just be happy to turn around here, but he runs out of Firefly. So the Fisher kind of just blocks him up. And they will be able to get Eris out of there safely. Man, you look back at Cuckoo on that Necrophos, he really has struggled. He's still sitting at level 7. Van's at level 8, James is at level 9. And, well, Raven finding Grims on the side there. Again, picking off that Keeper of the Light. Believe he did no, he didn't even commit time-lapse this time for it. And now Van, going to be under a bit of trouble, but he had the help of Jamesy and Eris around. And Raven looks like he'll just back up to the top lane.
Yeah, it's GeekFam still needs to find a lot more on this map. They're only about 1k behind, which is not big. The issue is, you know, you tend to see Cuckoo try to make these plays on these heroes. The Necrophos is just not getting anything done. They haven't even gotten a first Reaper sight off, and they just have to give out their mid-tier 1.
And now up to the top lane, Cignal. Would love to catch out Raven, but Sakuchi's going to make that very, very hard. Eris will spot out Wyman, and now Jamesy, he just jumps in with the Shadow Strike. There will be a snowball in. Wyman will cop the stun. Eris with the Walrus Punch, as well as the tag team, will have more than enough damage. And Jamesy picks up the kill on that Queen of Pain. And with that, Cignal Ultra going for that quick push onto the T1 top tower now. There'll be a defense coming in as Carl, he'll TP on the Batrider. I don't think that's going to be quite enough, though.
No. It's definitely not. Not without the blink. He will try to run up to Van.
Well, nobody's actually around Van right now. Van's team left him, and so he will die. They do end up getting Zephyr. Where did Zephyr die? He died all the way down a bot lane. So James just TP's bot and cleans up the Earthshaker kill. But they will miss out on that top tier 1 tower now because Van did die to the Batrider.
It's a bit of a missed opportunity, and that tower is still gonna go. But I think shutting down the Shaker is a bit better for Cignal. They're just slowing down that blink timing from Zephyr, although he's still about 1,250 gold away, which is not too bad for the pause for, but this is something GeekFam is kind of waiting out for. That farm and the Shaker we've seen a lot of teams prioritize before they start fighting further.
They'll go back up to that tier 1. Van, one more Nether Blast should do the job. Does. Van will go ahead and take that tier 1. An immediate smoke, however, from GeekFam. No blink up on Zephyr yet, but he's got the Echo there ready to go. Just needs to be able to break the gap. Gonna loop around through the river now. Zephyr. Fisher gonna be there onto Eris. Carl does not have Lasso right now, but there's the Echo. Reaper's Scythe as well, but Cuckoo now going down to Van. The Fate's Edict will save him, but now a Bat. He does a lot of damage on that Ember. Still, he goes too far, it seems, and he is taking a lot of damage right now. Raven gonna keep up the chase. Fortune's End is there as well, and Zephyr does secure the kill with the Fisher. Raven will continue chasing down Grims as he does. He just loves going after this Keeper of the Light. And he has time-lapse anyway. Jamesy gonna be there, but kill has been secured, and Raven is perfectly safe.
Yeah, and this is how we tend to see GeekFam play, right? They sometimes have a slow laning phase, but they come out, they find one good fight, they secure a bit of a network swing for themselves, and you start to feel like the momentum is going GeekFam's way. They still have a bunch of items to wait for. That Blink and Zephyr we've been talking about is inching closer, just about 500 gold away in that. You are one mithril hammer away for Raven, and it's just about 300 gold off for him. So you're gonna have a lot more damage coming out, a lot more flexible control, and Cuckoo's really the only slowest point, but at this point, he's really just there to sustain and distract Cignal. You saw what happened. If they jump him without taking care of the Oracle, Fate's Edict just saves him entirely. It doesn't matter.
It's a real problem. GeekFam now just going to be able to secure that Desolator up on Raven. He has got the last Mithril Hammer coming out on the Courier, and that's going to mean he hits like an absolute truck. Not to mention he's the top of the net worth board right now, and Cignal Ultra, they had a great start to this game, but it means nothing if you have no farm going. And that support keeper for the light that we keep seeing Raven chase down, he basically no longer exists as long as Raven is alive.
Yeah, he's not gonna be much besides a mana battery, and I guess when the Will-O-Wisp is up, it does allow Cignal a way of counterfighting, but take a look at Zephyr Mike, Blink Dagger up and running.
That's what you want.
The Dezo up, and yeah, there, smoke up and go in.
They got a perfect opportunity right now to jump on Grims.
Oh.
Grims will actually break the smoke. They'll run onto Van instead. Fish are going to be there missing everything. However, Echo going to be there from Zephyr. They will not get the Queen of Pain, but they do find the Coddle. They do find the Pugna. And now Carl also chasing Eris on that Tusk. He has nowhere to go. He will get lassoed and just get burnt alive by the Batrider. And this is where GeekFam, they are going to be very, very strong as we have approached that mid-game stage. This is where it becomes very, very difficult for Cignal Ultra. Like, they just don't have enough farm to contest right now.
No. Like, you need a lot more from the Pugna to start making those big, crazy stain plays, and you're just not quite there. You're looking at a Glimmer Cape coming out, and timing is a bit too slow, although Zephyr.
Yeah, he's getting chased down right now, going to be in trouble. Nice Fortune Zen to cancel off the Shadow Strike. Now they will just blink forward onto him, but the False Promise will save Zephyr. They will lose Wyman in the process. Eris, great shards block there onto Cuckoo. Snowball, they really just want this Earthshaker. He gets a 3-man Fisher off. Now Raven finds the Keeper of the Light. It's a full-scale team fight again. Carl, he'll come in. No lasso available, but they'll go after Van first. Zephyr with the 3-man Enchant Totem stun, and they are all within that Firefly. They are burning, and they will get team wiped. The only man left is a Bat on the Ember, and he has no remnants available right now. He does force Raven to time-lapse away, but Zephyr is on the case. He does get the Fisher off, but there'll be no further chase onto that Ember. It will be a 4-for-1 trade. They only lost that Pos 5 Oracle in the end.
Yeah, that's a really, really big win for GeekFam. Great reveals in their items as well. That was the Blink and Dezo reveal coming out from them. And Cignal just got caught with her pants down. Get punished really hard. They need to start stepping back and finding a little bit more farm. Abat is not ready anymore. Like, all he has is that that urn. Not even a spirit vessel just yet. You might want to finish up that upgrade to mitigate the heals coming out before going back into these fights.
Raven's gonna have a BKB up soon on the Weaver as well. That makes him basically impossible to kill in this game. There's literally nothing that goes through the BKB. They're just going to maintain control of this Radiant jungle. Chains are going to come out on Zephyr. Van going to start moving forward, puts another ward down, and now Jamesy as well, trying to go onto Wyman, but the shards block. Not going to be great this time around from Eris. We'll see a life drain there onto Cuckoo, but he's also just fine. GeekFam thinking about trying to go after some kind of team fight again. They really could decide to, as Zephyr does have the Echo, and you also have Reaper Scythe and Lasso up. But for now, they'll opt not to, and maybe that's just because you're waiting on Raven to just finish off that BKB. And after you've got the BKB, like I mentioned, there's really nothing that can stop Raven at all.
No, there really isn't, and that's going to be a big issue for Cignal. They need to use this time to just finish a couple of items. Finish that Spirit Vessel on Abbat. He needs it up. He needs to stop the heals coming out from that Oracle. I mean, we saw it last time. The fact that Zephyr lived through that chase managed to let GeekFam turn that. They wasted so much time to not even find that Shaker kill.
Now the bot tier 2 tower going to go down. You do have a BKB up on the Queen of Pain. That is a first item BKB on Jamesy. Lasso will still go through that, which is going to be very problematic for him. Carl will Firefly over the shards. Cuckoo now going to join his team. And Eris going to copper Reaper's Scythe. Carl forgot his courier on the mid lane though. So we'll lose his courier, but nevertheless they do get the Tusk, and well, it's up to them now. Do you want to go for an early Roshan if you're GeekFam? Do you want to go for more towers? It looks like they are going to try and secure a tier 1 mid tower, but I think with this Desolator you could really just move into the Roshan pit.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Take both. You take that objective, you take out the TP point, straight to Roche. No easy way for Cignal to punish, although they do have high mobility heroes. So you have to pay a little bit of attention towards that Queen of Pain and Ember, but still going to be a pretty quick take for GeekFam.
Yeah, Cuckoo will just tank the damage. In fact, it's the Swarm tanking the damage there for Raven.
Yeah, it's the real MVP are those bugs. Like, Cuckoo's not quite tanky enough.
The Cignal, are they even aware this is happening right now? Well, funnily enough, GeekFam are the ones backing out. They jump in. Carl gets a lasso onto the Ember. Echo is also committed from Zephyr, going straight on that Keeper of the Line. Nobody dying quite yet, but everyone is so darn low. Wyman getting Warrior's Punch in the backlines. He had to commit false promise on himself. Carl will get out of there safely. Meanwhile, Raven trying to chase down this Pugner. He will not get away with that kill. Instead, he might have to time-lapse right now and does do so, but he's still got problems. That life drain, the Scream will all be enough to end up killing off Raven, and now Cuckoo will also get chased down on that Necrophos. He's been chained up. He's getting his life drained out of him. And just the constant Decrepify, the constant Nether Blast onto Cuckoo, he will end up dying. And Cignal Ultra. They had a few big items before that team fight started, and that really gave them that advantage. Now back into the Roshan pit, this time for the Cignal Ultra side. However, here comes Carl. He's a bit early to the party, but he's almost killed off the Tusk and does do so. Eris goes down. Now Zephyr with a 3-man Fisher. A Bat's falling very, very low. He goes down to the Purifying Flames. Now they do at least find Zephyr as a trade, but nobody gets this Roshan.
Yeah, like a really good counter fight coming from GeekFam towards the end there. I think their big issue in the first encounter was that they lost their Oracle too quickly. They need Whitemon to keep Cuckoo alive and to have that false promise ready. When your Oracle ends up trying to save himself, that's a bit of a bad sign. So Whitemon needs to maybe find a better position in these fights, but straight back to the pit for GeekFam.
Yeah, why not? You've just got to get back to it. It's so low, neither team wants to let it go down. Shards to block the way. Raven losing a lot of HP, but he has time lapse if he needs. Also has a BKB charge available. You do have that blink potential from the Queen of Pain if you so wish, and Carl, he's been caught out on the Bat Rider, though Aegis has been snatched. Eris, he gets in there on the Tusk. He does take the Aegis. Now the Warrior's Punch there on Whiteman. A lasso is out by Carl, but it's not doing too much up against Jamesy. The false promise to Woodley saved Carl's life, but now the Sonic Wave from the high ground and the Remnant from a Bat. It's a bit short, but they do secure the kill. Cuckoo, however, Reaper's Scythe. It won't be enough. A Bat comes in for his revenge, does clean up the kill, but now Zephyr, he does at least kill off a Bat on the Ember, but here comes Eris, the man with the Aegis. He will go for the snowball. Zephyr gets caught. A huge echo, however. He does find Jamesy and the Aegis from the Tusk, but he will die. And what a team fight we just witnessed.
Oh man, GeekFam, that was not the way that should have gone. They lose out on the Aegis. They don't manage to find a cleanup as well. At the least, Raven's alive, but you are seeing issues come out here with the execution, and they really need to be wary of how much they bleed back the Cignal, because Cignal, given enough time, can still come back in. Like, you look at the build going on now on a Bat. He is going for physical into the Desolator, skipped that Spirit Vessel instead, just wants to get the damage out. And again, with the Keeper of the Light, just having constant Sleight of Fist, with that Dezo, it just means not much is going to live for too long.
Speaking of not living very long, John, Eris going to be in a lot of trouble right now. Does snowball up towards Wyman, but Carl is going to blink up to the north, where that Tusk is. Start stacking up that oil again. Morris Punch going to be there on the Oracle. Eris still trying to juke them out here, but eventually he will die. It's still a very even game. The net worth lead is 7k the way of GeekFam, however. So even though you had that huge Aegis steal, even though you had the great team wipe out from Cignal, it still doesn't bring that gold lead back their way. They've got to work harder towards that. But I do agree with your sentiment that they are getting closer and closer. And it really is all on a bat, because he is going to be that main damage dealer. He's going for a BKB up next, and it looks like he wants a Lincoln Sphere after that. Just to try and, I guess, deal with the Reaper Scythe and Lasso of this Bat Rider and the Necrophos.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to go about it. They don't quite have strong defensive supports beyond the Tusk, but Eris has been forced to play much more offensively with that Snowball. So you're not going to see too many saves in this case. I think one thing that GeekFam is doing well on is the itemization on Raven. He's opting for the Nullifier, so that's going to take out the saving grace of the Pugna. There's not going to be an easy escape now once that's up and running on our Weaver. And you are inching closer towards it, not too much farm left, maybe about 1,800 gold. And once that's up and running, you should see Raven be able to find those low HP heroes that keep running away.
Smoke up Cignal.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Loop around Raven right now. Oh, they found Zephyr in the tree line. Zephyr, he has the Echo, he does commit it, but it's not going to be great. A bat, though, does go down to the lasso of Carl. Now they'll lose Zephyr on that Earthshaker, and Grims also ends up dying on that Keeper of the Light. The Oracle going to be chased down now by Jamesy, but he is falling low. He still doesn't kill off Whiteman, and eventually Carl just going to body block him up. He could kill him himself, however, and eventually Whiteman will be the one to pick up the kill on the Oracle. And in fact, Carl's not done. He tries to chase down Eris on the Tusk, but eventually he will just TP back to the Fountain. And that is going to be a 4-man wipe for the side of Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, they were the ones who smoked up for that as well, right? They were the ones trying to circle around Raven, and they got punished hard. They've got to be careful about their target prioritization there. They were enclosed, and it was fairly easy for GeekFam to follow up. Losing Abat very early hurt them as well. We mentioned it before, but that Ember is your damage. The moment you drop Abat, I think you have to maybe pull back. You're not going to win a full-blown fight, because Raven's just going to take over in that fight.
I love the fact that Raven's just going for a Nullifier now. Like, it feels like every time you look at Raven, his farm just escalates out of control. That Nullifier going to come up soon. Amps his damage. Going to be even more of a nuisance in the team fights. Has he even died this game yet? He's died once. Mid lane, however. Cuckoo. Locked up by the shards right now. Does just TP away. Surely he doesn't get out of no. The clumsy net will be there from Van. Still going. Reaper Scythe. He dies, but he takes the Quap with him.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to mind that, because you did get a little bit more with Raven around there as well. That does give the Nullifier for Raven, so you're not going to be escaping from this Weaver. No Glimmer Capes to save you. No Decrep to save you anymore. You're going to have to rely on maybe Eris bailing you out with a Snowball, but he's just been playing a lot more offensive, so again, probably not going to happen.
Top lane, Eris. Gonna be with Van. They spawn out the Bat Rider. Clumsy Net just trying to blow him up though. Nice Fisher coming out. Carl, he'll be KB. Trying to go after a bit of a fight here with that Firefly. Eris will be the target. And that's the thing, you had to blow him up before that BKB charge was expended, although now the Echo comes out from Zephyr. He only really found the Tusk. So it'll be a 1-for-1 trade. A Bat fighting that Earthshaker. But look at bot lane. Raven just takes the free racks for himself while all that was happening. Just nobody noticed. Not even us.
Yeah, just a free objective, and now Abat?
Oh, that's not it. He'll remnant out of it and just go for a straight tippy. Ooh,
Yules.
Carl, he gets the Yules off in time. He has
no.
one remnant but no mana. And Raven is like, thank you very much. I'll take your racks and I'll take your life. And Carl will give him the tip.
Yeah, it is getting a bit shaky here for Cignal. It's a 14k deficit, a big advantage for GeekFam. Raven is starting to be a massive issue, and they haven't been able to kill him recently. He's only died once in that laning phase, that's it. So the Weaver now going to be a massive issue. I don't think focusing on Cuckoo is going to do anything for you anymore. You just need to somehow take the fight to Raven, and... Ooh.
Bottom lane, Jamesy. Being chased down. The Swarm going to keep vision up on this Queen of Pain. She BKBs up. That will not help the cause.
No.
Yeah, you learn something every day, John. The Swarm does not get purged by BKB. Meanwhile, mid lane.
That's just... Oh.
Cuckoo, yeah, just going to be fine. You're at that point now where you're at a 15k net worth lead for GeekFam, and top lane, Carl trying to go after Eris now for pushing in this top lane, and has Lasso if he wants to commit it. He doesn't though, he just wants to run him down. Snowball onto the high ground. Oh
no.
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 That's a... Yeah, Carl gives another tip out. He's running out of tips now, this Bat Rider. And there's the bounty.
Yeah.
Tower is under attack.
You should put that before you find the kill, no, but... Still, GeekFam in a very dominant position. Cignal, they can defend high ground pretty well, right? They've got the Will-O-Wisp to play with. They've still got the combination with the Ember. It doesn't feel like Abbat's damage has scaled past the Desolator, though. They need a lot more on the Ember to really lay out the punishment onto GeekFam, and it's just not happening fast enough.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, he's just going way too defensive with his build. And you can't really blame him for that, because there's so many things for him to worry about.
Middle tower is under attack.
But at the same time, he is their main source of damage. And Lasso in the base. Carl just going straight after that Queen of Pain once again. Echo being committed, just locking her down. Jamesy will end up dying, and now Eris. He's snowballed in, but he does blink out. But they're on the chase again. Carl, he doesn't have Lasso anymore, but Raven doesn't care. He'll join in with his brethren. Grims with the Glimmer Cape will survive, but the Reaper Scythe on a bat from basically full HP will secure the kill, and they just call GG. Carl kills off Eris in the Fountain, and they have had enough.
Yeah, I can't blame them. Like, with that Reaper kill, you're not going to be respawning. There was no buyback. That was it. There was no defense coming out. And Cignal, they showed us a really good early game. They dominated their lanes. They had pretty good matchups. They worked it out fairly well. They just couldn't find the space later on, and they didn't punish Raven while he was weak. We've seen a lot of teams do this to GeekFam, but you have to somehow punish Raven. You cannot leave that guy alone to farm.
Yeah, he really did get out of control, Raven. Finishing 10-1 and 11, 18.5k net worth. Gotta give all props to Carl as well, though, on that Bat Rider. Matching Raven's farm, believe it or not, at 18k on that Bat Rider, and even getting more kills at 11. Nevertheless, John, we do have one more game for today between Cignal Ultra and GeekFam. That'll be coming up in about 10 minutes. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire casting for you tonight. We'll see you all again in about 10 minutes for that second game of this BO2.